What is the confusion of the tongues, and how has ESP been misdiagnosed? Whenever speaking of the confusion of the tongues, we are referring to an event in biblical mythology related in Genesis 11, verses 1 through 9. In this verse, we are told, not long after the world flood, the Lord punished mankind for making a name for themselves by building a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. As, previously to this, the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, the Lord brought about the confusion of the tongues to punish humanity's early ambitions. Therefore, Genesis 11:9 explains, is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. Of course, nowadays we recognize this as merely an allusion to the Old Babylonian Empire, founded by the Amorite king Hammurabi, after he ascended to the throne there in 1792 BC. However, the city of Babylon and state of Babylonia were already existent then. The town originally called itself Ka.Digir.Ra.Ki, from Ka.Digir.Ra.Ki, meaning, in Sumerian, gate of the gods, or Bab-ilim in Akkadian, from Bar-Ki-Bar, where the Ensi, governor, built a temple to Marduk. This is the root for the etymologies of words like babbling in English, meaning to speak nonsense in a stream of consciousness, and like barbarian from ancient Greek, meaning all non-Greek speaking peoples. The event described in Genesis is clearly meant to reflect upon the original rise of the Old Babylonian Empire under Hammurabi, who wrote one of the earliest legal codes and had it etched in stone. However, we know that already by that period in time historically, there were already multiple different languages and dialects present in the ancient Levant alone, let alone the various different populated areas around the world, which by that time included regions in South America, China, India, and Egypt as well. The beginning of the Old Babylonian Empire marked the end of what we call today the Neo-Sumerian Empire of the Akkadian period, from around 2350 to around 2000 BC, which began when Ur-Nammu killed the ruler of Lagash and became the king of Sumer and Akkad in 2112 BC. Even by the reign of Sargon, beginning 2334 BC, the spoken language of the Levant had become Akkadian, while the written language remained Sumerian. This situation is somewhat similar to the much later, from 1800 to 1450 BC, parity of linear A, Minoan, and linear B, Mycenaean, forms of early Greek. The common difference between these two is in dialect, with Minoan and Sumerian being used for written texts, while Mycenaean and Akkadian were mainly spoken languages. Sumerian and Akkadian were both written in cuneiform letters, however, while linear A and B each are their own alphabets. A similar difference also occurred in Egypt between the hieroglyphic and hieratic priestly scripts and the later demotic or common dialect written in the Coptic cipher, although, again, this occurred much later as well, from between 3000 BC, when hieratic began, to around 650 BC, when demotic became dominant. Likewise, the decline of ESP, telepathy, and clairvoyance, let alone telekinesis, has been a gradual process as well, beginning even before the origins of the first writing. Confer the Kish tablet from Sumer, some 3500 BC, with the origins of spoken language, possibly dating as far back as to Ardipithecus ramatus, a hominid from approximately 4.5 million years ago. Clearly, the Broca and Wernicke areas of the brain are significant in this shift. How is unknown.